Hello, hello. How is everyone tonight? I'm Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter, here for another live Quilt Conversations. Quilt Conversations live. It's so good to be back. I missed you ladies last week. I can't believe I went a week without seeing you. Hello, Wilda, Copper. Hello, 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 Cassie and Marcia. Hello, Sherry. How did you ladies like the music? That's something new. I've done a few things to change things up. Some new colorful overlays. Hi, Rosemary. Hi, Catherine. How are you, ladies? And Sheila. Sheila, hello, hello. So, it's been 2 weeks. What have you been up to? What have you done? Any of you ladies sewing or quilting? What is happening? Let me know what is going on in your world. Did I miss anyone? Did I say hello? Who's missing tonight? Oh, there goes Benita. Hi, Benita. How are you? It's good to see you. Hello, hello. Fix that. Okay. Hello. You missed it, huh, Copper? You missed it last week. Um, you did like the music. Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad. Groovy music. Yay. Oh, there goes Terry. Hello, Terry. Nice to see you. All right. Oh, that's right, Sheila. There was a quilt show here in Fredericksburg, Virginia, the Original Sewing and Quilting Expo. Did you have a good time? Did you have a good time? Did you buy any fabric? All right. And Copper, you did some deep organization in your sewing room. Wonderful. I need to do that. I need to do a whole house organization. I guess maybe if I hired someone, it'd get done faster, but I really want to pare down my stuff. Yep, donating, getting rid of a lot of stuff. Exactly. All right, Sherry, you're going to get the Snowflake template. Woohoo! Yay! You know, I love that template. Matter of fact, I'm going to share Linda's quilt tonight. She used one of the Snowflake templates for her quilt, and she did the edge to edge pattern. We're going to see that a little bit later. Awesome. Flower power. Did I miss something here from Catherine? All right. Hell groovy flower power. Got it. Well, as you know, if you got my emails and notices, I tried to put them in multiple places that last week I canceled because I had my first in-person lecture in more than a year and a half, and it was so much fun. It was a lecture demo. That was last Friday, a demo and lecture on ruler quilting, and we just had a fabulous time. And then on Tuesday of this week, I did a lecture that I call From Backstage to Main Stage, moving from free motion quilting to ruler quilting. So I do a trunk show that gradually shows how I incorporate ruler quilting in my quilting. All right, let's see. What else is happening here? Sheila. So you're broke. Okay, come on, you have to confess. Okay, give us two of the things that you purchased at the quilt show that you really fell in love with and could not resist. Oh, there goes Lois. Hello, Lois. She couldn't sew this week. Okay. Oh no. I'm sorry about that. I hope you feel well soon. Okay, you're staying home. All right, you're going to see a doctor. I'm so glad. Good. Get better soon. Hello, Tina. How are you? From PA. All right. You purged a lot of stuff, Cassie. Wow. Getting a long arm on Wednesday. Congratulations. How exciting. Getting a new machine is always this mixture of anticipation, of am I going to know how to use it, but also of all the wonderful things that you're going to make because you have this new machine. So I'm happy for you. Congratulations. Which one did you get? Which long arm? Okay, what else is happening? Copper, you had a couple of leaks in your house? Oh no. Okay, I hope that gets fixed very soon. Sorry for that. All right, yay. Congratulations to the in-person demo. Thanks, Sherry. It was fun. I love to see ladies get excited who haven't seen ruler work or ruler quilting on a domestic machine, and just to see their eyes and their responses when they see how easy it is to quilt some of these patterns on a domestic machine. And they have invited me back. I'm going to teach a full workshop with them in a few months. So I'm excited about that. Hello, Lorraine. How are you? It's good to see you. Glad you're here. All right. What else is happening? All right. Everyone's excited, Cassie, that you're getting a long arm. It's a Gallant. I don't think I've heard of that one. It's the model name or the brand name, Gallant. I'm not familiar with that. All right. Sheila, you did some paper piecing ruler and other rulers. Okay. That sounds like fun. More tools to make more quilts. All right. Oh, it's a baby lock. Okay. A baby lock. That must be one of their newer models. How exciting. Is that a sit down or a frame long arm? Okay. Wow. Fantastic, ladies. Well, lots to report in these past 2 weeks. You ladies have been busy. I've been busy. What else is happening in my neck of the woods? I have a lecture next week on Monday. And that one is from frustration to fabulous. Another one on free motion quilting. That's in person. I'm looking forward to that. Well, congratulations, Lorraine. Lorraine made a quilt for the annual relief sale with her church, and they have an auction. And one of her quilts in the auction, $3,000. Congratulations. That's going to help so many people. They raise money to help people. That's fabulous, Lorraine. All your hard work has paid off. Fabulous. Okay, not a sit down, says Cassie. It's a frame. It's adjustable, so she can change it to a sit down if she needs to in the future. That's great. Awesome. Yay. All right, ladies. So on tap for tonight is Q&A. But before we do that, I have a couple of announcements. And let's see, what's the first one? I think it's just a reminder, if you weren't here last time, that I have a new 3 pattern bundle. This is the first pattern bundle that I offer, and it's Color Wave, Radiant Star, and Taffy Candy. 1 lap quilt and 2 baby size quilts, all in one bundle, and it's reduced price. You get to save money. You get to save $5 when you buy the bundle. And if you haven't seen my patterns before, they are full color patterns. Full color patterns. Let me hide that. And you get step-by-step instructions. And many of the patterns have the layout to help you complete the project, and also a coloring page so that you can color and make the quilt the way you want. So just a reminder, if you didn't know about that, you can get this pattern bundle on my website, and I will show that to you. Here we go. Here's my website. This is a brand new website. It launched in July, and so I'm still making improvements and adding new things, and the pattern bundle is something new. So there's a specific link at the top for pattern bundles, and when you click that, you'll see the first. So this is the first in a series of pattern bundles that I will put together. And the benefit of this bundle is that each quilt, there's a video here on YouTube where you can watch and get inspiration on how to free motion quilt or ruler quilt the project. So that's a bonus on top of the pattern. A good value. I think you might agree. So anyway, just wanted to let you ladies know that that is available. But now I think it is time to show Linda's quilt. Linda decided that she was going to use the Snowflake template, the one with the circle, to quilt edge to edge on her quilt. Can you ladies see the edge to edge quilting on that? She used the round edge with the straight line. You know the Snowflake template. If you don't know the Snowflake template, I'll show it in a few minutes. But when she was sharing this quilt during the Stitching Lane Society monthly meeting, she talked about how first she was inspired because she saw the video that I have here on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, I show you how to stitch it. But also how easy it was to do and how quickly she went through the entire quilt and how quickly she realized she was enjoying the process. A lot of times with free motion quilting, we have this fear and dread and we worry and we're concerned, is it going to turn out? But she said that she enjoyed the process, and I love to hear that. I love to hear when ladies say they had fun doing ruler quilting or free motion quilting. It's a beautiful quilt, and Linda, thank you for sharing it with us. I hope you ladies can see it. And Sherry, I know that you're getting these templates and you're looking forward to trying some of those patterns. They're so fun. Yes, yes, it is beautiful. I love it. Yeah. Oh, that comment is like way over there. Let me move that over. There we go. That's much better. All right. I like the different colors too. It's amazing how a simple design of bars, strip piecing bars, can be so beautiful. And you can use it to feature your favorite fabrics or use it as a scrap quilt. It is very colorful. And the quilting, I think it all goes together very nicely. Every time I see a quilt like this, maybe this happened to you, Sheila, when you go to quilt shows or you see beautiful quilts, you just get inspired and you want to start quilting, or you want to make that quilt. This is one of them. I'd love to make a quilt like this. Yes, nice colors. And I get inspiration from the use of not only colors, but do you ladies sometimes find a fabric that you like, but you're not sure how you're going to use it? And often when we see it in a quilt, that gives us inspiration to say, well, yeah, okay, I can see me putting this fabric that I like in this type of quilt. I think this is one of those quilts, this type of pattern, to combine solids and prints and mix match them in the different bars. I like the way she did that. Yeah, it's really nice. Oh, Cassie, I just saw that. You tossed a sofa just to make room for your long arm. Good for you. If the sofa's not being used, it's out of here. Make room for that long arm. I love that. It is beautiful. All right. Yes, she got over that fear. Yay, you're welcome, Linda. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I didn't think about that copper, the yellow. That's interesting. It's interesting how the yellow kind of makes us kind of dance, our eyes dance across the surface of the quilt. It creates this movement. That's a good observation. Ah, so Sheila, you've been building a library of inspiration with photos. That's a neat idea. Neat idea. Copper says other people's quilts inspire her to think outside of the box and to see fabric in a new way. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Connected lollipops. The quilting, those connected lollipops you've shown us. Yes, it is. You call it lollipops, that's true. And I think I like that description the best. I'm going to show you. Again, thank you, Linda. Thank you for sharing your quilt with us and inspiring us tonight with your quilting design, your use of color. Well done. Well done, Linda. Yay. All right. So, for those of you who don't know, this is the video that you can go and see how to quilt this pattern that Linda used on her quilt. And it's with the Snowflake template. It's an edge-to-edge design. I think Lois has tried it because I think Lois is also a ruler quilting teacher, and she shared it with the ladies at the shop that she teaches at. Is that correct, Lois? I think so. You had a demo and the ladies were so excited they wanted you to teach a class. And Sherry's going to get her ruler soon, so I can't wait to see what you do. Sherry, do you know which pattern you want to do first with your snowflake? Is it going to be a block-based design? Or is it going to be edge to edge? Or are you just going to play, put some fabric on your long arm and just play and do border designs or anything that suits your fancy? Whatever you feel inspired to do. Yes, so Lois says now they want a class. Fabulous. Well, it's a fun template series. There's so much you can do with it. Yeah. All right. So, I think it's time for some Q&A. What do you ladies think? I did put, by the way, if you're on Facebook, you just go to the YouTube channel for Living Water Quilter and you can find the videos. And if for some reason you can't find it, you just go to the channel, go to the playlist. There's a specific playlist for all of the Snowflake templates. But also in this live session, in the description box below this video, I've linked to all of those Snowflake tutorials and video demonstrations on this template. So go there, check it out. I think I'm going to share with you the last time we were together. I did a word scramble, right? So I'm going to do it again tonight. Last time, Smarty Pants Wilda said every answer was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious because they were too hard. Okay, I'm going to, and I think Lois got out of the 10, because it's 10 tonight. Lois got 9. I think Lois, you got 9 out of the 10. So here's another 10. Let's see how many of these you can get, ladies. I'm going to leave it up while I answer your machine quilting questions. Machine or ruler quilting questions. What questions do you have about free motion quilting or ruler quilting? I'm really considering doing a series on the different tools that I like. All right. Wilder is our wonderful word, Wonder Woman. Funny, funny, funny. That's true. Yay. Oh, Sherry, thank you for your response. I missed that. You're going to do edge to edge when you get your Snowflake templates. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Okay, question. Cassie says, do I use any special thread for long arm quilting, or can I use thread? Use the thread I use for my long arm. Well, you can use any thread. I use glide thread on my long arm, and I use it on my domestic machine. I use Bottom Line by Superior. I use a lot of Superior threads. Threads, I use Magnifico, Fantastico. I use Isocord thread. So when you get your long arm, it's just a test. Someone asked me at the lecture what needles I use for my long arm. I use only two needle sizes, I should say, for my long arm, my Juki sit-down long arm. I use an 18 and a 16. The 18 is for all of my quilting, pretty much all of my free motion quilting or ruler quilting with glide thread or isocord or any thread that I use. The 16 needle I use when I'm stitching on batik fabric, because you know batik fabric is tightly woven. So I will use a 16 needle for batik fabric. I seem to get better results for that. Okay. Where can we buy special quilting rulers? Well, it just depends on what rulers you're talking about. If you're talking about cutting rulers, specialty rulers, there's all kinds. There's different quilters who have designed quilting rulers for cutting fabric. Some of my favorites by quilters that have designed really good, useful rulers that you will use over and over is Creative Grids. Creative Grids rulers are fantastic. The lines on the rulers are white and black. They work on both light and dark fabrics. I love Creative Grid rulers for cutting fabric. For ruler quilting, I love Westerly design rulers. I have used others, like I used the Line Tamer. I think, Terry, that's one of your favorites. But I've also used some by another company for ruler quilting. I've used, what's the name of that company? Quilters Rule. Quilters Rule. They manufacture a lot of rulers for different sewing machine companies, but they also have their own line of rulers. And they have a series called the chain rulers. And on the chain rulers, they have 4 different sizes of that particular shape. So if it's an oval, that one ruler will have 4 different sizes to make ovals, or 4 different sizes to make squares or diamonds. And I love those chain rulers because the variety of things that you can do with them. I have a couple of videos here on the channel with Quilters rules, chain rulers. I hope to make more because I like those rulers. So Sherry says she likes glide on the long arm. Great results with that. Awesome, Sherry. Thanks for letting Cassie know that. Question. All right. Copper says, I try not to rip out any quilting. Do you rip out any of your quilting when it's necessary? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And the reason is that I know me. There are some things that I'm willing to live with, and there are some things that I'm just not willing to live with. And one is if the pattern is not working and I haven't gone too far into the quilting, I'll spend time and I'll take it out. Second is if I've made a mistake, and yeah, maybe only I can see it, or that I chose the wrong thread color. If it's going to bother me, if every time I look at that quilt, all I can see is the mistake or the error or the poor choice, whatever you want to call it, or if it's something I just don't like. If every time I see it, that's what I'm going to look at on the quilt, I take it out because I don't want to associate the quilt with a bad feeling. So yes, I will take it out. Hello, Sabrina. So glad you're here. Yay. Yes, Terry, I like it too. It's a channel ruler that your foot goes in. It's very helpful for straight lines. I love that ruler too. Quilters Select for cutting rulers. Sheila likes them. Awesome. All right. You're welcome, Terry, for that tip for the batik fabric, size 16. And I get my long arm needles from Superior Threads. I like their needles. They're Gross Beckert needles, which you can get anywhere. But they have the, not only, they have multi-packs, so you can get a lot at one time. Also, for those of you who are long arm quilters, did you know that there is a Gross Beckert app? You can get a phone app for your smartphone for long arm needles. So check that out, Gross Beckert app, if you want more information about long arm needles. All right. What else is here? So there are a lot of quilting rulers out there. You just have to go and test and see what works for you. And my big thing, when I did the demo last week, and whenever I teach ruler quilting, once you start to use them a lot, you begin to know what is needed and what is helpful in a ruler. And what I find helpful in ruler quilting, rulers that have good lines, etched, accurate 1/4 inch etched lines, and also rulers that have pattern lines. So if the ruler is making a wreath or a heart or some shape, as you make the shape, as you stitch, and you move the ruler to make the pattern, the rulers that have pattern lines to let you know that you are accurately stitching the pattern, I love those rulers, and Westerly Design has that on their rulers. As you're stitching a wreath or other patterns with some of their templates that are design-specific templates, as you're stitching a border design, you will see that you are stitching it accurately. So I like ruler quilting that allows us to see the pattern as we're stitching. It's a good reference. It knows that you're heading in the right direction and that you're going to complete the wreath design or the border design. So I like that. Okay, what else? What else? How do I choose thread color? That's a good question. If your quilt top has multiple colors, that's a good question. Now, when I choose thread colors, it's not necessarily based on the color of the thread or the color of the fabric, although that does play a part. But the first step is evaluating the value of the color. So I recommend that you take a photo of your quilt, then change that photo into black and white. Where does the color value rate? Is most of the quilt dark, closer to dark grays and black? Or is it on the other side? Is it a very light colored quilt where most of it is light, a light gray or almost white? Or is it in the middle? Black here, black, white, if that's the spectrum. In the middle, is it gray? Or does most of that quilt have a value in the middle area? So you look, take that photo, change it to black and white. What is the value of the quilt? Is it a light quilt, a medium value in terms of gray, or is it a dark value in terms of black? So once you determine that, if it's a middle gray, right, the value, now look at the colors of the quilt. So if the color is predominantly blue, you're going to want thread that's going to be in the gray value, middle value, but the color of the thread will be blue, but it's going to have a value that's gray, meaning it's not going to be a light blue and it's not going to be a dark blue. It's going to be a medium value. And that's when I've decided I want the thread value to match the quilt value. So it's blending. It's not going to be too much of a contrast. If I want more contrast, then the quilt value is middle gray, I can have more contrast between the fabric value and the thread value by choosing a white or a light colored blue, a lighter blue, or I can choose a darker blue. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? All right. So Copper says, great tip about the black and white photo to help pick. Yes. Okay, I'm glad that was helpful. Yes. All right. So do I need to reshare that? That was a lot of information about the photo. Does everyone understand that? Okay, very helpful. Awesome. All right, great. Copper. Always with these wonderful questions. So Copper says, okay, Dina, you've ripped out all that stitching and now you have holes in your fabric. How do you get rid of those holes? Well, this is where we go back into our quilting process. I would take a steam iron and start that way first. I will apply some steam to relax the fibers and help them rebond, if you will. Rebond those fibers with some steam. And then I'll rub the fabric to help it along, to minimize the look of the holes. All right, Lois, again, she's figured it out. Except for number 17. Okay. Another one. Yes, she is. Let's give others a little bit more time. A copper, just a segue to getting rid of the holes. Now, imagine if you don't pre-wash your fabric, right? It's tricky business to put steam on a quilt where potentially you can harm the quilt because you're applying water or steam to it. You may have done that already when you press the blocks, but a lot of people don't press blocks with steam because they don't want to stretch the fabric or distort the quilt block. So you might dry press, which is recommended, dry press. You might add a little steam at the very end just to flatten the seams, but you're not going back and forth, but you're still adding a little bit of steam. Sometimes with those holes, if I feel like the steam is not enough, I will spray it, a light mist of water over the fabric, and then let that settle in and then steam it again. But if you haven't pre-washed your fabric, it could potentially damage. What? What? Wilda? What are you talking about? Number 17. Oh, you ladies know how to make this fun. I'm so glad. All right. Now, you have to tell me when you're ready for me to reveal the answers. I think I'm going to change Wilda's name officially to Smarty Pants. Wilda, you're fun. It is hard. It's not easy. But if you like word type puzzles, what's your favorite word game? Answer that in the chat. My favorite word game is Scrabble. I used to have ladies come over for a night of Scrabble, and it'd be so much fun. I love Scrabble. I don't know if this is going to date me or not, ladies, but it reminds me of the Little Rascals. Do you remember the Little Rascals? There was always, who was the one that was, I forget which of the Rascals was the Smarty Pants one, but I think we have our own little club here, ladies, and I just love the back and forth banter that we have here. Daily Jumble is your favorite word game. Okay, you like Scrabble too, Lois. I'm not surprised. Yeah. Maybe that's something we'll play when we finally have a quilting retreat. We'll play Scrabble or some other word games. Spanky or alfalfa. Okay, Wilda, you can choose. Or maybe you're Darla. No, I think you're Darla. That's the little girl's name, right? Darla from the Little Rascals? Okay. So, Sherry, are you saying share the answers now? Or is that the name of the word game? So Wilda likes Scrabble too. So, okay, that's 3 of us. Yes, Wilda will be Darla. Oh boy. You ladies, it's so good to be with you again. I really missed our time. I was tempted to come online even though I was so tired. I drove 2 hours there and 2 hours back. plus the time I did to set up in the lecture. So it was a long day, and I was tempted to try and go online anyway, but Catherine was thinking about me, and she said, Dina, don't push yourself. We can miss you 1 week. So Catherine, thank you, because I really needed that rest. But I did miss you, ladies. Okay. Word roundup is great. I don't know if I heard of that one. All right, so Catherine has a question. I have a domestic machine, and I've heard about using a frame with it. A frame. I think that there are a couple of Facebook groups where domestic machine quilters put their machine on a track system, and I think the Grace Company makes frames, and you put it on this carriage system that you can now move your machine across the quilt. There are a couple of things with that. First, like whether it's that type of quilting or long arm or sit down, long arms as opposed to a domestic machine, I would go and I would test it. I would go and see what it's like. See if that's something that you would enjoy. Is it something that you can sit down or stand with, and does it matter? But also, that carriage system is only going to be as good as your machine is. Okay, so if you have a small machine where you don't have a lot of space between the needle and the back of the machine, even though the machine is on a frame, you're still going to only have 7 to 8 inches of stitching space. Now, I did try a frame early in my free motion quilting journey, and it's called the Flynn frame. It was kind of a do-it-yourself. He gave you all the components, and you put it together, and it took me a lot of effort to roll up the quilt, to put it on the frame, and I used it for a while, but I didn't enjoy the process. And that was just part of my journey. I had to test it and see if I liked it. And I think someone might enjoy it and who has the space for it. Another thing, that it required a lot of space, and I had to use my dining table. And a lot of ladies enjoy it and like it. So I hope that answers your question. It's only going to be as good as your machine. So if I was to get a domestic machine and put it on the frame, I would get something like a Juki 2010. That's a great, or the Brother machine that's similar to it. I think there's a Juki, a Brother, and a Baby Lock they're all straight stitch machines, and they're made for quilting, basically straight stitch. I would use that on that type of machine, but I would get one with as much space from needle to back as possible. Because if you only have 7 inches, that means you could only stitch 7 inches or 8 inches, and then you have to advance the quilt. So then you have to think about what pattern are you stitching to do that. So anyway. Oh, you didn't realize it. Well, ladies, you have to get on my email list or some list. Maybe if you join Quilt Conversations Live Club, you join the club, and you can do that. You can see the link over here in the bottom. Join livingwaterquilter.live. If you join that, I put up posts and messages about what's happening with Quilt Conversations Live. So on a minimum, join that, and you can get notifications, or you can join my email list, and you can get that by visiting the YouTube channel. There's a link in the description box below to tell you how to join my email list. Okay. What else? All right. Okay. Does that help, Catherine? All right. So I guess it's time to share the answers. Maybe not. Grace frames for domestics. Yes, Grace frames for domestic machines. Grace Company. Word Roundup is a word game. Okay. All right. So what else do you ladies have questions about? We've talked about thread. We've talked about needles. What other challenges do you have with machine quilting or ruler quilting, or tips? Okay. All right. So Catherine says, thank you. I'm not getting it. All right. So when you say you're not getting it about design and quilting density, be more specific. Do you mean selecting a design? Do you mean how to place a design in a quilt? Or do you mean quilt density? What does quilt density mean? What's your specific question? Help me. What is your specific question? Okay, quilting density on a queen size quilt. Okay. So let's just backtrack and just talk about quilt density. Quilt density, quilting, machine quilting density, when I talk about that or use that term, what I'm talking about is how much thread am I going to put on or in the quilt? Is it going to be heavily stitched, very dense, with a lot of quilting? So if in one space am I going to quilt 10 lines, or am I going to quilt 30 lines? If it's 30 lines in the same space, that is very dense quilting. Now, our quilting density has two factors. One, our personal choice. How stiff do we want the quilt to be? Because the more thread you put on it, the stiffer the fabric is going to be. It's not going to be as pliable, right? But also our batting selection. The first thing that's going to influence how dense our quilting is the batting. The batting might require that I have to stitch such that there's no space bigger than 3 inches in that entire quilt. That's unquilted. Some battings say you must stitch where there is no more than 3 inches of space that is left empty or unstitched. Then there are some that say, yeah, you can leave a big square 8 inches of unstitched areas in your quilt. So 3 inches will have denser or more thread. 8 inches potentially can have less. You can, with an 8-inch batting, you can stitch closer, but you don't have to. So that's going to influence how dense the quilting is. Now, if you don't want a lot of stitching because you don't have enough time, you want to stitch it very quickly, you're going to look for a batting that doesn't require you to have a lot of stitching, meaning you can stitch far apart as opposed to very close together. So you're going to look at that. The batting, how you're going to use it. Do you want it to have heavy stitching? Is it going to be a heavy use quilt? Some might do a lot of quilting because it's going to be a heavy use. And say it's a child, they're going to drag it around. They're going to bring it from one place to the next. They're going to bring it into the car. They're going to bring it to school. They're going to bring it when they go on a picnic. They're going to go everywhere with that quilt, kind of like Linus. I think it's Linus, right? From the Peanuts. So that will influence how dense the quilting is. Use, batting, and then your own personal choice. I hope that helps, Catherine. All right. So Copper says, do you listen to music or podcasts, etc., when you quilt your quilt sandwich? Well, it depends. I'm a multitasker. I think a lot of us ladies are. If I need to listen to something that I'm learning, and lately I've been learning a lot of different things, taking classes, and I need to listen to a lecture, I will do that. I will say, okay, while I'm quilting, I'm going to listen to this teaching or lecture or something that I'm learning. And sometimes I'll put headphones on to help me concentrate even more. And then other times I might watch a movie. I like, who's that author? She wrote a lot of books. Jane Austen movies. Love her movies. Yes. So I'll watch those. Pride and Prejudice and Jane Eyre, I think, and others. Okay, so Catherine says she wants to do rulers and free motion quilting, not sure how to go about it. Well, go back to paper and pen. Catherine, I've seen some of the things that you do when you are practicing your free motion quilting designs. One of the things that I suggest in an early relationship between free motion quilting and ruler quilting is to start with straight lines. Put some straight lines in your quilt project to segment, to create borders and boundaries for your free motion quilting. And those straight lines could be a zigzag, like I showed you in one of the videos. I think it was the color wave quilt. I put zigzags in with straight lines that gave me areas, sections, borders, and boundaries for free motion quilting. And the lines were done with ruler quilting. You can take any shape. It could be zigzags, squares, circles. You can do any kind of design. So take some paper and do any shape that you can create with rulers. Then fill that shape with free motion quilting. And I suggest just starting with some straight lines. And sometimes the easiest straight lines to do are echoes. Echo within a quilt block. Echo on the inside, on the outside. Maybe do 4 blocks and echo in those 4 blocks and do free motion over the 4. So you can do the echo any way you choose. It's really up to you, but do a preview on paper and pen. Okay. All right. So Rochelle says, how do you get over stage fright or taking the first step? I doodle and practice, but when I get to the actual quilt, I'm so afraid I'll mess up and just set it aside. Well, I get over the stage fright in 2 ways. I practice on those quilt sandwiches, but I'll also make an extra quilt block from that quilt. So if you're at the stage where you've practiced on paper, you've practiced on quilt sandwiches, but you're just afraid to get into that real quilt, make an extra block for the quilt you're making. It doesn't take that much longer to do that. It's going to help you in multiple ways. One, you're going to feel like you're quilting on the actual quilt because it's the quilt block, right? You can even put a border around the quilt block to give you more practice. You're going to be able to audition thread when you do that. You're going to be able to audition a quilting pattern and design when you do that. And it's going to build your confidence so that when you go from practice, paper and pen, free motion quilting sandwich, now you're going to do it on that quilt block. You're going to know what you like and what you don't like. And you'll feel more comfortable moving to the real quilt. Try that out and see how it works. If you don't have an extra quilt block for some of the quilts you're talking about, just make another one or find any orphan blocks that you have, or just make a block. Start quilting on quilt blocks only. Go from a quilt sandwich of just one piece of fabric, start quilting on quilt blocks. Okay. So Bonita purchased some rulers, but it was too thick and the thickness of the ruler for her low shank machines. Yes, that's something that you have to be careful of. If your machine is high shank or low shank, you have to get the right thickness. Traditional long arm machines use 1/4 inch thick or 6 millimeter. A high shank will use 4.5 millimeters, and a low shank, the thickness is 3 millimeters. You can still use that ruler if you can't return it to get the right size, thickness. You can use it on the front, the left, and right of the machine. You just can't use it in the back. You're welcome, Catherine. Let me know how it goes. Love Jane Austen. Yes, Agatha Christie. Divide and Conquer. Okay, awesome. I'm getting good information here from my long armor. Yay, awesome. Yay. I think it's time to reveal the answer. I'm going to do that now. Here are the answers, ladies. All right, because we are at 8 o'clock. I can't believe our time has gone by so fast. Awesome. A sample block will be helpful. Good. You should do that. You're welcome, Benita. You're welcome. All right. A baby quilt panel is a neat idea, Cassie. I love to use quilt panels to practice as well. So most of my classes are centered on learning the design, practicing on just regular fabric, no piece blocks, and then moving from that to a quilt panel. That also builds confidence. Hey, ladies, I wanted to share with you before we sign off for the night, but anyone get these answers before I move on to the next topic? What do you think? Can you see the answers now that you weight, machine, speed, bobbin case, and number 17? How was that for you, Lois? Did you 100%? All right. Sherry got 6 words. All right. Copper got 4. All right. And Cassie says she got 100%. All right. Word jumbles. These were a little tough. They were a little tough. Not easy to do. So anyway, I hope I didn't miss any of your questions. If I did, please let me know. I'm going to quickly go through the comments one more time. Now, I can search the comments by putting in a question mark. Let's see. All those with question marks should come up. Yeah, there they are. Okay. We covered that. We talked about that. All right. Yep. Okay, so I think I got all the questions. If I didn't, just ask it again now. Let me know before I sign off. All right. Did I say hello to you, Marcia? I don't remember. If I didn't, please forgive me. I say hello now. I'm glad you're here with us. And anyone who is new and watching on the replay, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to Quilt Conversations Live. We're glad you are with us and you joined our little community here. As you can see, we have fun and we laugh and we talk about quilting and other things in between, like the Little Rascals. Wilda has a new name. Her name is Darla. I won't call you Smarty Pants anymore. Okay. Oh, anything about metallic thread intention. Oh, okay. That's the last one. I don't use metallic thread. That was a decision that I made early on, that I would use thread that looks metallic but doesn't have the properties of metallic thread. And the only reason for that is when I was learning early, and I suggest this for anyone who is just starting with free motion quilting, is to minimize the number of variables. We have so many variables in free motion quilting and ruler quilting where something can go wrong. And I wanted to remove the challenges of stitching with metallic threads so that I can concentrate on free motion quilting and patterns and design. So I don't have a lot of experience with metallic threads because I have avoided metallic threads. Instead, I use threads that look metallic. So that might be something I should look at in the future. It should be something that I look at in the future. Okay. The spaces in the words through you. Yes, I should have warned you ladies about that. But before we go, I want to share with you, I think it was Copper mentioned that she thought we were still meeting and she didn't get notifications. And I mentioned that you could get a notification by joining my email list or joining the Quilt Conversations Live Club. It's easy to do. It's not hard. And the bonus is that you can, if you join the club, you get 10% off of all of Living Water Quilter merchandise automatically. And someone asked a couple of weeks ago, do I have t-shirts with Living Water Quilter logos? And so I have not only t-shirts, as you know, I have mugs. And so you can get a mug, or you can get a t-shirt, or you can get a sweatshirt. Mug, sweatshirt, t-shirts, all kinds of things with Living Water Quilter, water bottle. When you join the Quilt Conversations Live Club, you automatically get 10% off. And the club membership is very inexpensive. It's not a lot. It helps support this live event every Friday. It allows me to do the things that I do to share with you ladies. And it's very easy to do. So this is the Buy Me a Coffee Quilt Conversations Live membership website. And the link is join.livingwaterquilter.live. So when you go to the browser, you just type in join.livingwaterquilterlive. And for as little as $2.50 every Friday, you can become a Quilt Conversations Live club member. And you automatically get 10% off all sweatshirts, mugs, t-shirts, anything that you might be interested in. And you will get other bonuses. So I just wanted to let you ladies know about that. If you want, you can help. I have 3 supporters. Thank you, ladies, Wilda and others who are supporting and helping me to do Quilt Conversations Live every week. Okay, ladies, I wanted to share that with you. I think that's it for tonight. We had a good time. Now, next week, do you want another Q&A or should we move on to another topic? What interest do you have? Another Q&A? What would you like to do? All right. Let me know. What would you like to do next week? Another Q&A? Was this Q&A helpful? All right. So Copper would like some more quilting inspiration. Okay. More of my quilts. Catherine says quilting. Okay. I was thinking about doing a series on ruler quilting. Oh, and the other thing I'm working on is to do tools. Would you ladies be interested in me talking about the specific ruler quilting and free motion quilting tools that I use? I thought about doing that and doing it simultaneously. I don't know if you ladies know that Amazon now has Amazon Live, and I can broadcast to both locations at the same time. So I've been doing some studying and working on how I can showcase the different tools and do that for both. Sheila would like to see my bowls. Sheila, this is machine quilting, ruler quilting, and free motion quilting. I will eventually, maybe on another channel, I don't know. I'm still thinking about how I'm going to share bowls on a machine quilting and ruler quilting channel. I know a lot of ladies want to see how I stitch up my bowls. Okay, so Cassie says tools, awesome. Yes, Wilda says tools, all right. Sheila likes tools. Okay, tools. Okay, and some photos. All right. Okay, tools. I think we are ready to look at some tools because we've talked a lot about design and techniques and patterns and how to put designs in, but there are some of my go-to must-have tools that I use to help me to do it. So I want to share that with you. All right, so I'm going to work on that. Tools, Terry says tools as well. Okay. I think we have a consensus. Rosemary says tools as well. All right. Yes, I do. I have those tools listed now on my Amazon store, and I might use that as a reference. We will go through the tools that I highlight there, and you can, if you're interested, just go on the YouTube channel. In the description box below any of my videos, there's a link to my Amazon store, and I have very specific lists for each of the categories, for sewing and quilting, for basket making, Sheila, for cutting tools, for ruler quilting tools, free motion tools. And in those lists are the tools that I use. to make my quilts, whether it's cutting fabric or starching fabric, the rulers I use, everything that I love for quilting. And so we're going to go through that. Yay! Awesome. All right, ladies, have a wonderful weekend. If you can sew, sew. If you can quilt, quilt. I don't know if I'll get around to it. I'm prepping for my lecture next Monday, but it'd be nice to have a day of just relaxing and sewing. Be safe and be careful. And those watching the replay, welcome. If you have any questions that were not answered today, please leave a comment below. I will respond to your questions. And if you enjoyed tonight, become a subscriber. I learned at that lecture that many of the ladies watch YouTube, but they don't have a YouTube account. The benefit of having a YouTube account is that not only can you like a video and save it to your liked folder, you can save playlists. So when you have a YouTube account, you can follow someone, you can like the content, but you can also, on your account, save my playlists on free motion quilting designs for beginner, my playlist for ruler quilting edge to edge designs, my playlist for machine quilting tips. You can save those playlists to your account. So you can automatically just go to your account and click that playlist. So if you don't have a YouTube account, get an account so that you can like and subscribe and save your favorite videos to your personal playlist. Okay, ladies? Have a good weekend. I will see you next time. Bye now. Good night.